All people need help. I know this because I've been a recipient of help both from people that I know and strangers in the past. I was so grateful coming to OST, learning that they support us giving of our time, our talents, our treasures, and for the specific group, crisis support, I know of Family Promise in Grand Rapids, and they help people who are experiencing homelessness. When people are in survival mode, it really impacts their ability to just live their daily lives and be great citizens of our communities. For OST supporting this local nonprofit, as well as many others throughout the country, this is really important for the ripple effects that will be felt for generations.
Something I'm passionate about is giving back to my community, and one of those ways is by volunteering my time at Kids Food Basket by packing and prepping meals for kids that go to school in our community in Grand Rapids. It's been so fun to be a part of a company where I can do that with my coworkers as well, and they feel the same passion and they love seeing our community impacted in the same way as I do.
In Minneapolis, I know last year we had a couple opportunities to give back, and that was through Matterbox, packing events for snacks for kids who might be in after-school programs or just needing a little boost in ways that maybe they're not getting fed enough. That was really an awesome thing that we got to do together. And then also Feed My Starving Children, we were able to participate with that program last year as well. But just really appreciative, really thankful to be in a place where that's seen as highly valued and important. So thank you, OST.
I chose to use my volunteer hours for Habitat for Humanity because I got the chance to read some of the stories of those who were impacted and needed some housing. Another added benefit of getting to do this volunteer experience was the ability to get to meet and know OSTers from a deeper level. Because usually I only interact with my team and those I work on a project, but getting the chance to see other people in the company and becoming friends with them was really cool.
We only have one planet, and it is so important to me to think about future generations and how we are protecting this amazing resource that we've been given. So as somebody who's personally passionate and trying to really think about my own impact in the environment, I am very grateful to work for an organization that has similarly been investing in organizations that also care about that. So I've had the opportunity to plug in through OST with the Friends of Grand Rapids Parks, to make donations to the Minnesota Parks Foundations, West Michigan Environmental Action Council, and many others that are doing the work to protect our environment. It just makes me feel so grateful to work with others, both on the sustainability committee and off, to really think through what does it look like to be a business that is also impacting our environment in a positive way.
5 years ago, when I was 21, my best friend died by suicide. His name was Brody. He was the type of person that you always wanted to be around and that you could never imagine living a life without. I remember he always used to tell me, "Halley, don't you dare ever let anyone treat you like anything but the angel you are." And now he's my angel. So every year I donate to the Mental Health Foundation of West Michigan in honor of Brody. And I am so grateful that OST matches that donation for me and for him.
OST's community impact has been one of the things that has really stood out to me in the last 2 years of working here. I have been able to participate in a lot of different events where we see a lot of women, which is quite rare in the technology industry and IT fields. I myself was hesitant to kind of enter into this world, uncertain if I would be surrounded by other women. And it's quite common to walk into the office and see many. We have women leadership. It creates safe spaces and also creates really healthy minds and mindsets about how we approach the work that we do, how we show up every single day. We get to bring our whole selves to work without having to mask certain parts of it. And that's something that I've never had before until I started working at OST.
STEAM education is focused on trying to generate awareness around science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. There are so many careers that are blossoming out of that space. Really, it sort of provides a foundation for kids that even if you're somebody like how I was in school where I didn't really have a particular direction in mind, if you can focus and concentrate and experience some successes in those spaces, those are applicable in so many possible career paths. It demonstrates that we're concerned about what comes after us and the people that come after us. It's important to know that it's not just focused on, short-term gains or profit margin or things like that, but that we really honestly do put our actions behind the words that we say when we talk about how we care for our community and how we care about our people and the families that work and contribute to OST.
I was able to bring the first ever on-site blood drive to OST. It was something very personal and very important to me. My youngest sister gave birth to my brand new niece in November, and unfortunately there were a lot of complications. So my sister actually was a recipient. And when I knew that I was O negative, I knew how important that was, because there was a plead in our community in West Michigan that they really needed donors, especially universal ones. So I stepped up, did a big girl thing, did a blood drive for the very first time. Even though Doug saw me almost pass out twice, I did it.
One thing that I'm really connected to in the Grand Rapids community is the 1 in 5 mental health relay race, and the Wellbeing Committee has been able to support OST being able to put a team together, 5 individuals to run collectively a marathon, which has just been so good, and it's all supporting mental health related programs through Hope Network.
We want to know that our organization is giving back, that our organization is committed to the communities we live in, and that we're paying attention as a group. So when OST gets involved in local causes, that to me says we're plugged in and that we care.
Tremai from snowy Girdwood, Alaska. Koniag is not your typical corporation. Our shareholders aren't living in high-rise apartment complexes in downtown Manhattan. In fact, our shareholders are the indigenous people who have called Kodiak Island home for 7,500 years. For centuries, our people have lived and thrived in some of the smallest, most remote communities in America, home to some of the harshest Arctic conditions. And they've thrived, in part because of the benefits and services that they receive through Koniag. So every time someone at OST wins a new contract, performs exceptionally well on a contract, develops efficiencies in processes and systems to save OST $1, every time one of those things happens, that dollar comes back to Koniag, and we're able to reinvest those earnings into our Alutiiq people and our communities. And we do that through a ton of different programs and services, but today I want to tell you stories of 2 of them. First, this year, we issued an elder benefit of $1,200 to nearly 900 elders age 62 and older. And the day that the elder benefit hit the bank accounts of our elders, we got a call from an elder who was in tears. And she shared a moving story that she had recently had a medical issue that was so severe she was no longer able to go to work. Because she wasn't able to go to work, she fell behind in her rent. And every dollar that came into her house went towards her rent, which meant that there were many things she wasn't able to do, like buy food and put gas in her car. When her elder benefit hit her bank account, she immediately went to her landlord, got caught up on her rent. Her second stop was to the gas station, and she had a full tank of gas for the first time in weeks. And she called in tears because for the first time, she was able to make it to her medical appointment, where she knew that her doctor was going to help her go through the rehabilitation that she needed with her medical issue so that she could go back to work. The second story I wanted to tell you about was that this year, Koniag provided a $1.5 million donation to the Koniag Education Foundation. Through that foundation, Koniag was able to invest in college and vocational scholarships for nearly 200 students who were pursuing their dreams. You're making a difference. So on behalf of our 4,400 Alutiiq shareholders and their families, thank you very much for everything you do every day to make OST a great place to work.